Hello students, let's continue with T.S. Eliot's poem The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock. As we have seen in the previous 4 sessions that this poem mirrors the hollowness, hypocrisy, alienation, isolation, hopelessness and depression of the modern life. And the very picture of the modern man is presented in this poem through the character of Prufrock. We have seen in the previous sessions that how Prufrock gives expression to the mental dilemma and the inability to interact with others, inability to communicate the very thought which is going on in the mind of a modern man through this um, in, interior monologue, The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock. So today we will take up the concluding part of the poem. Let's see what Prufrock says in this very extract. No, I'm not Prince Hamlet, nor was meant to be. I'm an attendant lord, one that will do to swell a progress, start a scene or two, advise the prince, no doubt, an easy tool, differential, glad to be used, politic, cautious, and meticulous. Students, Prufrock continues to compare himself to the canonical figures of Western literature and culture, and he finds himself lacking in the comparison. As we have seen in the last session, that he compared himself to a second-rate John the Baptist or Lazarus, and now here he is comparing himself to Shakespeare's Hamlet, and remarks that he is no prince, and is instead just an attendant lord who appears in a scene or two. In other words, he presents himself as a nameless, insignificant character in the drama, not a protagonist. He describes himself as differential or an easy tool, adding to the sense that Prufrock feels little sense of control or agency over his own life. He presents himself politic, cautious, full of high sentence, but a bit obtuse, at times instead ridiculous, almost at times the fool. Indeed, he downgrades himself even further, suggesting that he is not just a servant but is even a fool, a ridiculous character who serves mostly as comic relief. So this suggests that Prufrock does not see himself as a particularly noble or heroic character, but instead as someone deserving of mockery. So this sense of being alienated and isolated from the canonical works of Western culture suggests that Prufrock feels unsure that the categories of greatness can even um, exist in the modern world. So instead of seeing authority and prestige, Prufrock sees a world characterized by failure and mediocrity. And as he further says, I grow old, I shall wear the bottoms of my trouser rolled. Shall I part my hair behind? Do I dare to eat a peach? I shall wear white flannel trousers and walk upon the beach. I have heard the mermaids singing each to each. So, as we have seen in the previous sessions, that in many of the stanzas, Prufrock declares that there will be time for all his procrastinations. So here, Prufrock admits that in fact he is running out of time. He states twice, I grow old, I grow old. So he is coming to accept the narrowness of the window of the time in which he can make changes in his life. So nevertheless, he imagines a few changes, like wearing the bottom of my trousers rolled, like parting of his hair in a different place, or even daring to eat a peach. So, however, these resolutions have a comic tenor, since trying a different hair part or eating peach are in fact highly insignificant changes. However, for Prufrock, being paralyzed by anxiety and indecision, even these changes seem charged with great significance. So the weight that he attaches to these small changes in his clothing and habits indicate just how mired he is in convention, even though he imagines trying to do something different as his life comes to an end. So all those protestations in the previous part of the poem, like that there will be time, now look like wishful thinking, as Prufrock faces the fact that in truth he grows old and faces a future of increasingly limited possibilities. However, he still imagines that something unexpected and even magical might happen, and that walking on the beach he might hear the mermaids singing. I do not think that they will sing to me. Here we feel that the image of mermaids singing might end the poem on a hopeful but optimistic note. So, but the very soon there is a blank space after the appearance of the mermaid in the third line, and then the scene changes. The scene soon takes on a darker resonance, and he admits, Prufrock admits that the mermaids, they will not sing for me. So this indicates his low self-esteem, his sense of himself as undeserving of inclusion in the world of social and erotic encounters. Even worse, he goes out to say, I have seen them riding seaward on the waves, combing the white hair of the waves, blown back when the wind blows the water white and black. We have lingered in the chambers of the sea by seagulls wreathed with seaweed red and brown, till human voices wake us and we drown. Here, even the situation gets worse, that how he admits that I don't think that the mermaids will sing for me, indicating his so low self-esteem. He says that he has in fact gone into the sea and lingers there in underground chambers, hearing the voices of the mermaids. And the voices of those mermaids then take on a more sinister quality, alluding to the myth of the mermaids who lures sailors out to the sea in order to kill them. In this sense, the speaker's desire for connection, romance, leads to his destruction. So, the final image of the speaker trapped in an underground cavern, listening to the melodic voices, calls back to the odd image midway through the poem, in which the speaker wishes that he could be a crab instead of a human being. So, perversely, the poem ends with the speaker getting his wish. He has become a bottom feeder just as he desired. And so, if the speaker, Prufrock, has drowned, then he is in kind of hell. So, the poem thus ends by circling back to where it began with the epigraph from Dante's Inferno that depicts the pilgrim's experiences in hell. And it turns out Prufrock, having perhaps drowned himself, has been a kind of underworld all along. So, in this way, this poem, through the tragedy of the Prufrock, presents the tragedy of modern hollow man. And the poem exposes the sordid nature of modern civilization, the purposeless lives of people through the character of Prufrock. I hope now all of you have a very clear idea of the theme and the setting and the core concern of this very poem. In the next session, which is going to be the last session of this series on T.S. Eliot's love song of J. Alfred Prufrock, we will talk about this poem in terms of its structure and language. Thank you.